What's going on, everybody? Gleez here, and today we're going to go over Honda. And the first thing, as always, we're going to check out his buttons here. So his fastest punisher is going to be his crouching light punch, and this will link right into Honda hands, which is quarter circle back light punch. And you can see that after Honda hands, we are at 2 frames advantage. So this does allow for us to put out another button depending on the amount of pushback on hit. His stand medium punch, if we were to set him to block, it is +1. Alright, so really good button, decent meaty. His heavy punch is decent meaty as well. It's very active. You can have the most active point of the move hit on wake up, and it will actually negate some of those negative frames on it. It also doubles as an anti-air. So whenever the opponent jumps at you, heavy punch is going to be a pretty good option, especially if they're directly overhead. So we have Guile set up to jump in, and we're just going to use that heavy punch to smack him right out of the air. His light kick is not really a move that I use too much. It is 4 frames of startup, so it's pretty good, but it's pretty stubby. It is really quick, but again, it is pretty stubby. Medium kick does get a little bit of forward momentum. Same thing with his crouching light kick. I don't really use it all that much. Crouch medium kick is not bad. You can poke that out there. You also have his forward heavy kick, which is really good. Right, so forward heavy kick is good. It is punishable if you do it up close on block. It is more of like a footsie tool, so you're kind of in this range and bang, you throw that out. You can also use it off of drive rush, and it gets in there really fast. So that's another thing that I like about this move, and you can cancel it. Or I'm sorry, off drive rush, I shouldn't say you cancel it, but you can go into combo off of that. We'll get to combos in a little bit. His stand heavy kick is pretty good as well. It also doubles as an anti-air from range, and it does have 2 hits, and you can cancel the first hit into his biggest launcher right here. But again, we'll get to combos in a little bit. And last but not least, we do have his overhead, which is right here, which is holding down and forward at the same time and pressing heavy kick. And that is an overhead, so he does have off of his drive rush a 50-50. He also has a command grab. Now, what's pretty interesting about this move is that you can cancel the startup of this move into the command grab. And it works really well off of drive rush. Now, what I typically will do with the character, once I get somebody in a knockdown, I'll go in with either my low, I'll go in with my overhead, and if they start parrying, which is what a lot of people do when you start mixing them up on wake up, you can actually go into that overhead and right into the grab, like that. So you can actually cancel the overhead, the beginning frames of the overhead, into the command grab, which is really cool. It's an interesting aspect to the character, and it's really hard for somebody to react to that. When they see that, they're going to try to block overhead, but they're going to get grabbed. So next we'll talk about Honda's special moves and how they all link together. He has the headbutt, and each button has a different length and speed. Also, the startups on his light and his medium, you can see 10 frames. And then his heavy is 14 frames. So the startup is a little bit longer. What's really cool about the heavy one, watch this. It actually doubles as an anti-air. So if you're charged up, you can just hit somebody right out of the air. It doesn't really even matter the range. Like, they're always going to get popped, right? It's one of the most consistent anti-airs that I found in this game. It works from someone being overhead to being a little bit further away. From ranges, it works. It's very versatile in that way. He also has his Honda hands. His lights come out the quickest. He also has the medium, comes out a little bit slower. Oh, and then he also has the heavy, which comes out even slower at 21 frames. It's a pretty slow move. It's hard to link in combo, but we'll get to how you can link that off of his launch, and it works really, really well. He also has the butt slam, which is plus on block. Now, the butt slam is susceptible to quite a few things. You can anti-air it on whiff. So if I were to go up this way, like JP, any character that has an overhead, or I should say anti-air that goes right over their head, like JP's Crouching Fierce, will actually hit that out of the air. You can drive impact through it and get a big combo. Your opponent can also drive rush under you and punish you. It also will whiff on crouching opponents. So if you try to do this on block pressure and they're crouched, notice that it does hit when they're standing. But if I were to make it crouch, it's going to whiff that first hit. And they're going to be able to punish it depending on the character. And you can also air throw it. So if you were to do this from range right here and Guile were to react to that, he can jump up and air throw you out of it. So there are ways around it. So keep that in mind while you're using Honda. It's not necessarily a move that you can just throw out recklessly, but I would definitely suggest testing the person that you're playing against and abusing it if they don't know how to beat it. One of the really good things about it as well is if they do block it, notice that you're plus. So it's +2. So off of that, you have options. A lot of times I'll go into that. So crouch light punch into this. That's going to be a frame trap. They're not going to be able to really push buttons there. If they have a move that's invincible, they can invincible through those frames in the beginning of the startup. But other than that, you know, they're not going to be able to really do anything. Now, once they respect that, you get a lot of things going, right? They respect that. You can go in, you can command grab, right? You can do essentially anything you want. If you know that they're mashing their lights or something, you can back up and then get a crush, right? With your punishing stand heavy punch. So you do have options here, and it's a really tough thing to deal with for many people. And you also have his headbutt. Now notice his headbutt, what it does there is look at his drive meter up top. It takes a whole block of drive, right? And it is safe. It's a -4 with large pushback. You do have to anticipate that many people will try to charge, like Guile may be sitting here, he's waiting for that, he'll flash kick you. You know, that's what people will try to do. At full screen, people will jump back and try to jump kick. So Honda will whiff, jump back, boom, they'll punish you, big combo. So I would not utilize that from full screen if you can avoid it. Also from full screen, drive impact is somewhat reactable. Many times people will be late on it, and when they're late on it, Honda can actually do his own drive impact and punish them for doing it. It's much more difficult to react with drive impact from here as you're utilizing it than it is from full screen. So again, I would caution against throwing this out from full screen, but take that with a grain of salt. So to add to the headbutt, the OD version, overdrive version, has armor on it. It works really well for a wake up. So it's a pretty good get off me move. When people try to wake up or try to pressure you on wake up, you can utilize that to get them off of you. It is very, very negative. So make sure that you're not just throwing this out there in neutral. Make sure that you're using it in very specific situations. Another decent situation is projectiles. So it goes through projectiles and you're able to punish if you're able to react quickly enough. But if they bait you, again, remember, it is really, really punishable. Like -20 something. Let me see this. Yeah, -20. So you're going to get big damage comboed here if you do just throw this out there. So keep that in mind. So the last special move we're going to take a look at is his walk or his stance. He comes in walking like a crazy sumo wrestler. And if you hit punch one time, it does come out with 2 hits. It's -3, so it is safe. It leaves you very close to your opponent. He also has a third hit that's very negative. So it's -24. So you don't really want to use that on a block situation. You want to make sure that you're confirming your hits. I actually don't cancel into this in many instances unless that I see that my opponent has been hit. And it typically comes off of a big punish. And what's really good about this is that you can utilize his target combo, which we'll get into his target combos next. Light punch, medium punch, and then you get a very good corner carry. So notice that takes you from about half screen almost to the corner, which is pretty good. It also puts you at 22 frames of advantage from this distance, which allows you to get a charge, and you can react to whatever your opponent then decides to do. It also puts you in good drive rush position, right? So you can just drive rush in, you can do your overheads, your lows, you can go into your grab. I was a little bit short there, but you can do that. Also, one thing to keep in mind with these grabs, the heavy can connect from the closest. So you need to be real close to do the heavy. It does more damage. The downside to using the heavy, again, is the range. Shorter range, more damage. The medium, right, they all look the same when I do them, but the medium has a little bit more range, a little bit less damage, and the light has the most range. So if I were to do the light from probably about here, I could still get it. right? But if I do the heavy, so we'll go from the heavy from about here, no dice. Light, got him. Right, so a lot of times it's more advantageous to use the light. You can also use your overdrive. Your overdrive connects from far away, and it does do much more damage than the light, so keep that in mind as well. The other option that he has off of his stance is down and heavy punch, which does launch, but it is extremely negative, so again, you have to hit confirm this in order to use it successfully. So his only other target combo is this, which is medium punch and holding down, forward, and kick. I don't really use this all that often. You're only +3 on hit. You can't really get any combos off of it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. It doesn't seem that good to me. Also, some other attacks. His jump ins, his jump heavy kick is really good. His jump heavy punch is pretty good. His jump and then down and medium kick is like the splat. It crosses up. One of his better jump ins. This is a unique attack. I also like this just because it's funny. He just sits on his head. I don't know. It just seems funny. It's very E Honda-like. It also does cross up, and that's the jump light. His his jump straight up, neutral jump, and heavy punch also is pretty good for air-to-airs. So I do like that as well. So somebody tries to bait you, do some crazy wild stuff, bang, you just hit him right out of the air. Pretty good move. So what's really important about Honda's game plan is the buff. So this buff adds to his Honda hands. It gives it properties that it normally wouldn't have. And one of the moves that I do like that I didn't go over was his crouch heavy punch, and that actually moves him forward. It's pretty good. In most instances, you can't get anything off of it, but when you do have the buff, you can cancel into your Honda hands, which is pretty cool. And notice also at the end, there's that chop. So he has that chop at the end. It puts you at 4 frames advantage. And what button do we have that's 4 frames? That's our crouching light punch. So we're able to go into our crouching light punch and then into an ender of our choice. Now, when we talk about combo enders, there are a couple different options that you have. You can keep them standing and just go into light Honda hands. You can knock them on the ground, and you're in this position, which I think is the best. I love ending in the stomp because I'm this close to my opponent on wake up, and I have 23 frames of advantage. So this puts me in a position to continue my pressure, to command grab the person if I think they're going to block. And it just puts me exactly where I want to be. And the other ender that we have off of that crouching light punch is going into our headbutt right here. And right there I use medium punch, 10 frames of startup. If you do use the heavy punch, you can connect it when you're like point blank up close, but because it starts up a little bit longer, if you have distance here, it's not going to connect. All right, so keep that in mind. If you do, I would suggest just going for the medium every time because it's always going to connect if you're able to land your light punch. So I would go with the medium. It only negates damage slightly, so go with the medium punch just to make sure that your combos aren't dropping. All right, so it is combo time, everybody's favorite time. So we're going to utilize some combos here off of Honda's jump-ins, and off of his jump-in, you want to utilize his stand heavy kick if you're going to use no overdrive meter. And when you get into your stance, you can use down and heavy punch, and you're able to launch your opponent, which is extremely unsafe. So you have to hit confirm this. His only attack without having some type of punish that links into that is the first portion of his standing heavy kick. So notice that it hits twice. We need to cancel that first portion, right? So it would look like this, right? So we're canceling that first portion. Again, it's really important that you get the timing on that. Now the jump in, any jump in that's heavy that you want to do, say you're punishing a projectile, anything of that nature, you're going to go in, you're going to get that punished. You're going to use heavy kick or heavy punch, and you're going to go right into your standing heavy kick. Right there, right? And now we're in that advantageous position that I just explained, 22 frames of advantage, and we're good to go. Now, if you are buffed, what you can do here is land your overdrive Honda hands and then still get into the stomp. And we're in that advantageous situation with corner position from mid-screen, So off of his drive impact, you can follow basically the same combo routes off of the jump in. It all works exactly the same, right? So no meter follows the same combo. If you want to use meter, you can follow the same combo that we just went over. All that stuff is exactly the same, and just instead of the jump in, you have the drive impact to start it. Now, if someone were to do a flash kick, you know, something with crazy recovery, a DP, and you block it, you want to go with your standing heavy punch, and then again, the combo is exactly the same. You can do any of the combos that we went over previously. You just start it with this, right? No different. So we'll take a look at his drive rush combos without the buff. So the low, you just go right into your crouch light punch, right into Honda hands. Just like that. With the overhead, you actually have enough time to land your light punch, medium punch target combo, and then you go into your heavy Honda hands. Just like that. Now the buff follows the same rules, except you just get a little more damage because you're able to link into another round of Honda hands. Just like that. And right there, you can actually link into your medium Honda hands on the bounce. So we'll take a look at Honda's supers. So his level 1 is really fast. Boom, comes out and you can just push someone, you know, right off of you. His level 2, right here, which is the charge move. Pretty cool, pretty damaging. Goes through projectiles. You're able to hit people that are trying to zone you out. And then you have his level 3, which looks like this. And this does crazy damage, especially when Honda is health deficient, so like 25% or under. You can see right there, it's about 40%. So what's really cool about Honda is that in combo, he can go right into his level 1 or level 3, and he's able to get tons of damage. And you can cancel it right off of Honda hands, and your poke into Honda hands, you don't even have to confirm that because it's safe. So you have your fastest startup right into Honda hands, and you can go right into your supers. And it looks like this. Right there. And it's so damaging, it's so good, so easy to confirm, and you can get right into it off of something super simple. Crazy damage. Now you can use that in larger combos and get much more damage, obviously, but just to show you the power of utilizing something as simple as something that you don't even have to confirm, you just go your fastest startup in the Honda hands. If it hits, boom, right into super. That's really strong in my opinion. Something like that. Right? Not difficult at all. We're able to land it successfully. Really easy to confirm, and we're getting 60% damage almost. 50% damage. Crazy. So we'll go through some combo pathways here in the corner when they block your drive impact. The first one is with no buff. Looks just like all the other combos that we were doing. Right? Splat them, and now we're in that good position that we talked about. You also can end in Honda hands, and when you end in Honda hands, you can actually go into your super. Just like that. So this does, you know, crazy damage, easy to confirm, like we talked about before. And even with the scaling, because this does scale pretty hard when you go into drive impact on block, you still get some good damage. Now let's see what we can do with the buff here. Ooh! So we're able to get the EX Honda hands there, or OD Honda hands, and then back into our super. So there we go, a quick guide with Honda. We got some anti-airs, we got our quickest, fastest button that leads into combo, we got our big punishers, we got our drive impact combos, our jump in combos, our combos that lead to super, our ways to get our opponent off of us on wake up. We got our meaty. This is probably going to be your best meaty, and you know, we're doing pretty good here, got some things going. This will be a great start for you if you're learning the character, and I'm sure there's other things that I didn't cover in this video. If you know anything else about Honda and think you can help anybody out, leave it down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell so you get updated whenever I post new content. And as always, I want to thank you guys for checking in. It's Gleez signing out, and continue to game strong.